The following story contains scenes of strong violence. Parental guidance is recommended.
In the deadly serious game of cops and robbers, the name Roger Rogerson is legendary. He was an old-school enforcer, tough as teak, with a reputation for bravery and shooting to kill. He operated so close to the edge, it wasn't all that surprising that he finally crossed the line, becoming a real-life Dirty Harry and ending up in jail. Though Roger Rogerson is from Sydney, he's perhaps even more notorious interstate because of a telly-movie called Blue Murder that details his exploits. For legal reasons, it's never been seen in New South Wales. But tonight, in this exclusive interview, Roger Rogerson talks about that movie and his rogue cop image. In Blue Murder, the actor Richard Roxburgh plays Detective Sergeant Roger Rogerson with a convincing mix of Dirty Harry and the Terminator.
You must create fear. And crims, be they tough crims, hard crims, they feared certain police officers. And I was one of those police officers they feared. I wasn't the only one.
This ABC movie, billed as a true story, suggests that on the mean streets of Sydney, Rogerson used a gun to do his talking.
I certainly wasn't a firearm perv. I mean, I just used my gun when it had to be used and put it back in the holster.
The first crim you shot dead, what did you feel?
Well, you don't get any pleasure. There's really no pleasure in shooting someone. I mean, it's done in your line of duty, and it just had to be done. You get to the point where you say, well, it's either him or me.
Was it easier the second time?
No, it's not easy. It's not easy at all. No.
Roger, this is Warren Lanfranchi. Rogerson. Hello, Warren.
It was the infamous shooting of the drug dealer Warren Lanfranchi in 1981 which triggered allegations that the most highly decorated cop in the New South Wales force had crossed the line and become a feared enforcer. I want you to take a look at this and tell me what's fact and what's fiction.
Roger, this is Warren Lanfranchi. Rogerson. Hello, Warren.
Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
This shows Lanfranchi walking across unarmed.
Unarmed, that's right. Exactly. And
is that how it was, though?
No, he was armed. I mean, he was armed and he had the firearm was in his hand when he ended up in the gutter.
Did Warren try to take his gun that Saturday morning or Saturday lunchtime?
Oh, God, no.
How do you know, Sally, that he didn't have a gun in the car, that he didn't pick it up on the path as he walked out, that he didn't have it planted somewhere?
Because he left the gun at home and I had the gun. It was a 9mm Smith & Wesson automatic pistol. Sally
Ann Huckstep, Lanfranchi's girlfriend, was found strangled in Sydney's Centennial Park in 1986. To this day, no one has been convicted of her murder.
When the police become judge, jury, and executioner, then somebody has to speak. Somebody has to come forward. Somebody has to start somewhere and stop it.
What do you say to that allegation that Sally Ann Huckstep made soon after the shooting, that on that day police behaved like judge, jury and executioner?
Well, I suppose in a way that's one description of the situation. That I suppose is the danger of a police officer who is armed with a firearm, which is a lethal weapon. And I suppose this is all part of how the law works, that if a police officer makes that instant decision to shoot somebody, then he really does become judge, jury and executioner.
In that instant, you became executioner.
Exactly. That's right.
Executioner could be seen to imply that you had an alternative, that you didn't have to kill the man. Could that have been the case that day?
Not with, no. I mean, I'd have been happy to arrest him because we had the other two blokes arrested. I said, this guy is wanted for armed robbery and the attempted murder of a police constable, and he's going to be locked up. But if I was going to do something such as deciding to murder someone or execute someone, such as Lanfranchi, then I certainly wouldn't have taken 17 or 18 police because, yeah, why would you?
Blue Murder gets much hotter. The movie shows Mr. Rent-A-Kill, the Melbourne hitman Chris Flannery, going to the home of an undercover detective, Mick Drury, to stop him from testifying in an upcoming drug trial. The implication is that Roger Rogerson is part of a conspiracy to murder and an earlier failed attempt to bribe Mick Drury.
He's one of us, Sydney.
Well, Mick, who's the cop?
Rogerson.
That is absolute nonsense. I did not offer him any money, and I was not in a position to offer him money. No one ever approached me to offer him money, and that's as far as I can take it.
Did you ever talk to Chris Flannery about the problem Mick Drury had become for anyone?
I may have. I don't really recall now, and I don't remember what evidence I gave. I just really can't recall. I mean, Flannery was quite a dangerous individual, but how do we know these things now? I mean, all these years have gone by. I mean, Flannery's gone.
It's the talk of the underworld that Chris Flannery was eliminated to put an end to one of Sydney's worst gangland wars. While Blue Murder implicates a carload of crims and cops, a New South Wales coroner pointed the finger of suspicion at Roger Rogerson. It's not just the coroner. So many people think you know what happened to Flannery.
Well, if I did know, I suppose I would have told the coroner. But I don't know. I know that he had become a complete pest. And I think there were quite a few people who were glad to see the end of him. He didn't worry me in particular. But
why was he such a pest in the middle of those gangland wars?
Well, I think that was his nature. I mean, he'd come up from Melbourne. He had beaten a double murder trial down there. We used to talk many years ago that the most trouble caused in Sydney was by Victorian criminals who had come to Sydney, couldn't be controlled, and mainly the Sydney crims did not like to see Victorian crims or Melbourne crims moving into Sydney. They were just pests.
So he had to go.
I'd say he had to go in the end.
It's amazing how many people you had contact with that ended up with a bullet.
Well, that was the sort of work that I was involved in.
And never take a step back.
And you don't take a step back. Very true.
The real Roger Rogerson is even tougher than this fella. He's also highly intelligent, well versed in the law, and almost always exceptionally convincing in the witness box. Just think of the serious charges he's beaten: conspiracy to murder, attempting to bribe a cop, assault. And when he did shoot Warren Lanfranchi, the jury found he was just trying to make an arrest. But after 27 years in the police force, Rogerson's reputation finally caught up with him. He was kicked out for misconduct, and this hero became a villain.
He perhaps felt that his efforts in the past had not been appreciated, and so to speak, he may well have jumped the rails at that point.
Arnie Tees and Roger Rogerson were in the armed hold-up squad together. Today, Tees is his barrister. And you call him a friend even though he crossed the line?
Yes, well, of course, he crossed the line. It was a silly thing. It was over bank accounts, probably avoiding tax. The tax has been paid. He went to, he was a guest of Her Majesty for some period of time. That's in the past.
I'm innocent and I've been convicted on the perjured evidence of a criminal and a prostitute.
The legal battle to put Rogerson away took years and went all the way to the High Court. But in the end, the rogue cop was locked up for conspiracy to pervert the course of justice and served 3 years and 9 months behind bars.
What do you think of the justice system, Stuart?
It stinks. Bit of red paint. It's not blood.
Out of prison, Rogerson has gone back to the work his father had done. Listen to him and he'll tell you that this is what he does all day, every day, at his scaffolding works on the outskirts of Sydney.
And I've had people put to me that this must be just a front, that I come to work, that I get up about 5 o'clock in the morning and come to work and get covered in shit and dirt all day, and then go home. This is just a front for my criminal activities, which I do at night time and maybe in the other hours of the day that are left after I'm here for about 10 or 12 hours.
Even though he's out of the force now and has done his time in jail, Rogerson is still the target of numerous official inquiries into events Blue Murder didn't get into. It's alleged he still has links with the underworld and still has very handy connections with serving police. For this reason, Rogerson has been under electronic surveillance for more than a year. Did you ever find any of the bugs?
No, I didn't. In fact, I did pull that PowerPoint out over there, behind the TV set. But I realised, you know, they're pretty clever, the technicians who put these things in.
The surveillance tapes have raised issues like marijuana cultivation, cocaine. Now, have you been involved in anything related to those drugs?
No, not personally, no. These are mates of mine. I mean, look, that's their own business. What they do is their own life. My relaxation is having a beer. Whatever these people do, they do. But, yes, it come up in conversation, the money that can be made out of it. Yes, we should do this. Yes, we should do that. And as I said at the Police Integrity Commission, in reality, you could put it all together and you could call it nothing else but wishful thinking.
When we listen to you, it is hard for the average man or woman to know whether you're telling us the truth.
Exactly. Well, you can only rely on what I'm saying. You know, the old story, mud sticks. Mud sticks. But, and I suppose this is another reason why I've been, I think, careful in what I've been doing. Why do you think I go to work and work the way I do? Because I don't really want to be shot in the back. I don't really want to have some young bloke come up and bloody give it to me because I'm, you know, moving into his turf. I'm not interested in that. Okay, Rogerson moves into Cabramatta, I'll take Cabramatta over. I'd be terrified because I know I'd get killed, I'd get stabbed, I'd be shot.
If even half of what you're accused of doing is true, it's amazing that you haven't been shot.
Exactly.
Are you looking over your shoulder now?
I've never looked over my shoulder. I mean, well, other than for the fact that I believe Big Brother's always watching me.
One of those Big Brother videotapes captured Rogerson allegedly being paid $500 a week protection money by Alan Charara, a man once connected to the Eros Theatre, a sleazy Sydney strip club. Isn't it the fact that the Eros Theatre is the site, according to evidence that's come up in these inquiries, it is the site of drug sales? It has been the site of drug sales.
I really don't know, Jeff. I haven't been there in years and I don't know. I mean, there are things I wouldn't know. I don't go there.
You've said a lot of criminals fear you. Have you ever been paid to keep a place safe?
No. In fact, look, I have been offered, when I first left the police force, I could have done that. It was offered to me because of who I was and what I'd been.
You weren't tempted?
Look, it never interested me.
Do you think he's made himself a target by the company that he keeps?
Company he kept, maybe, when he was in the police. Not the company he keeps now.
Anne Molocco has been Rogerson's partner since he got out of prison 5 years ago.
To me, his mess has got bigger than him, and it's overtaken him.
He's got a pair of thongs on.
It sounds far-fetched, but there's some sort of culture out to get him, and I don't know why. I don't know what he did.
And this office was bugged because that's the computer and the desk where Anne and I used to sit and do the work for the quotes and whatever for the jobs. That was with that Liverpool Council stuff.
Rogerson's partner now finds herself at the centre of one of the inquiries now underway. Investigators had been looking into corruption in Liverpool Council, and a surveillance tape picked up Rogerson telling her to get rid of computer files on his dealings with that council. That doesn't sound too good.
Well, it doesn't sound too good. I think in just desperation when I said, get rid of all this shit out, stuff, we won't do more work, that's it, finished, get it all out.
I put it on a tape, on a disc. I didn't get rid of it.
And when you were hauled in before inquiries to explain the business that you've been working on, was that a shock to you?
That was horrible.
Are you worried that just by being your partner, you have put Anne in a precarious situation?
Well, absolutely. I mean, it's had a profound effect on her. She was never exposed to anything like this up until this last 12 months or so, and it would never have happened to her other than for the fact that she's my partner.
Why do you believe the system, ICAC, the Police Integrity Commission, the National Crime Authority, why are these official inquiries still going after Roger Rogerson after all of these years?
Well, look, I really hate to say this, but it does appear to be some sort of a competition. Like he's like a prize, like the fox and the fox hunt or whatever. Whoever can nail him to the wall, so to speak, can probably see themselves as being able to achieve kudos that where others have failed.
I'm sure they think that I'm some evil person who should be in jail. But as I said, I'm nearly 60 years of age. When is it going to stop?
With his own performance, this surprising but flawed man has created the persona that may trap him. Roger Rogerson, the household name, is still living the movie, carrying on in real life where Blue Murder left off.
If you're a sort of a nervous person, you'd certainly chew all your fingernails away and all your toenails away, waiting for what's going to happen, for the axe to fall. But I've just got to wait.
Is this your legend coming back to haunt you?
Or maybe it is.
So it's quite hard to live with your own legend.
Exactly. Exactly. At least I can say about my legend, I'm not a legend in my own lunchtime. It's certainly gone on longer than that.